Pressure. The feeling of tension that arises in a high-stakes situation. It's a word that goes hand in hand with sports. A fundamental part of every game there is. That one side will win and one side will lose. But that's what gives a competition its purpose. The art of pressure has been around for as long as sports have existed for. Players in the 1950s felt it, just like the players today. But in recent times, things have shifted. Before, it used to be that only the top-level athletes would have to deal with the backlash that comes with failing. But with how closely related sports and social media have become, everyone is under pressure. No mistake goes unnoticed. And this year, there's been one specific player who's been getting thrown into the pit, and it's not his fault. I want you to name an NBA player that was drafted in the second round. Anyone in history. Some of you probably know that Nikola Jokic was drafted as the 41st pick, and some might know that Jalen Brunson was the 33rd pick. But besides them, I guarantee 95% of people won't be able to name one. Yet somehow, this year a second-round draft pick has had more media attention than any of the other picks combined. The expectations that have been put on Bronny James is not something we see often, and all of this comes from the name on the back of his jersey. Now, the man who gave him this name is a man who is very familiar with pressure. The greatest prospect in the history of sports, labeled as a chosen one at the age of 16, million-dollar shoe deals as a high schooler, and somehow he surpasses expectations. But Bronny isn't LeBron, and people need to separate the two from their names. I get it, he's the son of one of the greatest athletes of all time, so he was always going to get more attention. But everyone's setting the kid up for failure. He was never going to be anywhere near LeBron. I mean, he was the 55th pick. None of you watching this video can name any of the 55th picks in the past 5 years. An overwhelming majority of them are out of the league, and some never even get to see the floor. Yet somehow, people are holding Bronny to the standard of an elite prospect, and when he inevitably fails to meet these exceedingly high expectations, the entire basketball world starts hating on him. No other second-round pick has been this criticized and dealt with this much pressure. People keep on mentioning how bad his numbers are, but they also don't realize just how much the weight of expectations affects performance. No one's even giving him a fair shot to develop. And you might think that he needs to stop being soft, and what people say online isn't a big deal. But we've seen countless examples of this actually affecting players in real life, and in some cases, ending careers. You know who's to blame for this? Social media culture. It's taken over the world at this point. Everything revolves around it, and sports are no different. Social media lets us experience once-in-a-lifetime moments together. Unbelievable buzzer beaters, record-breaking performances. When something extraordinary happens, everyone gets to see it instantly. But what this also means is that when a player chokes, when a team falls short, when expectations are not met, everybody in the world sees that too. And there's nothing that people want to see more than the ones at the top fail. Nothing goes more viral than seeing someone make a mistake. The internet is a place where people love negativity more than anything else. LeBron knows this maybe better than any athlete ever. If he even breathes the wrong way, that's a whole ESPN segment. And we've seen many examples of this across all sports. Zion Williamson was hailed as the next LeBron by all the media. He's one of the biggest names in basketball, and was actually a good player. But as soon as he got injured and started gaining weight, everybody turned on him, even his own fans. Ben Simmons was a 3-time All-Star, while being one of the best playmakers and defenders in the league. But all of that is forgotten, and all it took was one play, which led to a series of catastrophic events in his career. He became the punchline of every joke, skyrocketing into one of the most hated players in the world. And it's not just basketball. Romelu Lukaku was one of the best soccer players in the world, but after one bad performance and a few clips going viral, he got memed so much that he's completely irrelevant now. And all this happened because of the ruthlessness of social media, the constant magnification of every mistake, where people who know nothing about the sport can voice their opinion, even if it's completely wrong. We all know sports fans are toxic, but I don't think people realize that athletes see what the people are saying. People like us who sit on the couch don't understand how much pressure affects these guys. They are still the best in the world at their jobs. They've put in years of work and training to become successful. And if they fail even once, all the fans completely switch up. Let's look at the last playoffs. The Timberwolves had an unprecedented season, and Anthony Edwards was leading this team to glory that many Minnesota fans have never felt in their lifetime. and instantly he was labeled as the next coming of Michael Jordan, the new face of the league, the man who's taking over. But then what happened? The Wolves completely collapsed against the Mavs, and all the hype around Anthony Edwards was nowhere to be seen. The media set him up. He was never even close to being the next Michael Jordan, and all this pressure was given involuntarily by media narratives. But pressure isn't always a bad thing, and it's this pressure that gives excitement to the games. When one team chokes, another pulls off a miracle. It's the duality of sports, and you might say that athletes need to learn how to deal with pressure, but social media is the problem. See, back in the 90s, players would still be hyped up, and if you choked, you would get criticized for it. But now, you don't have to be a fan to say something. Anybody can say anything about anyone. There is no worse time to make a mistake than right now, because if you do, it'll be everywhere. The world will clown on you, and they don't care about context or the reason why. Klay Thompson shot 0 of 10 from the field for one game, and people are still in the comments mentioning it, forgetting all the championships and records he's broken. The pressure now is on a completely different level, since just one bad game can completely change careers. The bigger you are, the more they want you to fail. And that's the same case with Bronny. Everybody demanded for him to get out of the league, and they got their wish. This blend of media and sports has created a toxic and harsh environment, where if you can't put the ball in the hoop, people wish death upon you. The game has been made more accessible now than ever before, but that's not always a good thing. Miss a shot, it's trending on Twitter. Have a bad game, everyone calls you a bust. The weight of pressure has been stronger now than ever before. Fans love celebrating victories, but are even quicker to celebrate failures. And these things do affect the players. More and more athletes have been speaking out on their mental struggles and the pressure that comes with being one of the best in the world. Expectations are bigger than the game itself. There is no better feeling as a fan than watching the intense final seconds of a crucial game. It invokes a feeling of passion that unites sports fans. These guys are carrying the dreams of millions of fans, the hopes of franchises, and the weight of their own legacies. Pressure makes diamonds, but not everyone's going to be a diamond. When one rises, another falls. The cyclical nature of sports, a never-ending series of wins and losses, cries and cheers, and heartbreak and glory.